Good morning, this is your stats sensei, Mr. Spensei, and we're just going to go over some more function work using a calculator just to get better at it. So when you have fractions, you want to use multiples of the denominator. Well, multiples of 2 would be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, positive and negative, and we want to have both negatives and positives listed. So why don't we do this? Let's start with 0. We'll do 2, we'll do -2, then we'll do 4 and -4. All right. And by the way, don't forget f of x just means y. So in this case, we're going to go back to, and clear this out. We're going to press the y equals button. And in this case, we'll go 1 divided by 2 parentheses. It's just better to start putting parentheses for x minus 4 and use the minus button there. All right. Once you have that, you're going to press blue button and graph. And we wanted 0. So I have to scroll down because 0 didn't show up. 0 gives me, so this is what we have. We have y equals 1/2 0 minus 4. And that tells me that we end up with -4. When I go to 2, I have y equals 1/2 times 2 minus 4. And that gives me -3. And I go, oh, we want -2. So y equals 1/2 times -2 minus 4. And that gives me -5. And finally, we're going to do the last one, which was at 4. And we have y equals 1/2 times -4 minus 4. And that gives me -2. Oh, I mean +4, excuse me. That's supposed to be a +4. And then we're going to do the -4. And at -4, we have y equals 1/2 times -4 minus 4, and that gives me -6. So if I was looking at this, I would have 0, -4, 2, -3, -2, -5, 4, -2, and -4, -6. Thank you. Lights are back on. All right. So my domain, remember the x's are the domain. This is my range. Y is my range. And that takes care of that one. All right. So we have another fraction. This time our denominator is 3. Well, once again, we always want to test 0. So we're going to try to 0. Multiples of 3. So 3, 6, and 9. And I already have those listed. So remember, this is just saying x equals 0, x equals 3, x equals -3, x equals 6, and x equals 9. So we're going to go f of 0 using function notation equals 1/3 times 0 minus 1. So let's go to the calculator. I'm going to press clear, and I'm going to press the y equals button. And I'm going to press clear and get rid of that. And I'm going to go 1 divided by 3 parentheses x. Please remember parentheses just means multiply. Close those parentheses. Minus 1. Blue graph. And we wanted 0. So I'm going to have to scroll. See at 0, we get -1. Then we're going to do f of 3 equals 1/3 times 3 minus 1. So what do we get when we have 3? At 3, we get 0. Then it wants f of 3 equals 1/3 times -3 minus 1. And that gives me -2. Next, we want f of 6 equals 1/3 times 6 minus 1. And that gives me 1. And then we have f of 9 equals 1/3 times 9 minus 1. So we need to scroll down to 9, and we find out we get 2. All right. And if I actually were to graph this, there's my line. All right. And we can get the same line on Desmos. So my domain in this case is 0, 3, -3, 6, 9, -1, 0, -2, 1, and 2. Here's my range, and here's my domain. Okay? All right, moving on. Doing it again. This time we have a fraction again. All right? And so we always want to start with 0. So 0, 4, 16, 24, etc., or 20, 24. We're going to do multiples of 4. But they gave us, this time they gave us the y, and we're supposed to find the x. So basically they're saying 12 equals 1/4 x minus 4. And this is going to be 5 equals 1/4 x minus 4. 0 equals 1/4 x minus 4. -4 equals 1/4 x minus 4. And 4 equals 1/4 x minus 4. Now, the fact of the matter is I could do this by Desmos, but I think it'd be fairly ugly. So let's use this calculator. So if we go to y equals, and we go 1 divided by 4, parenthesis, oops, I'm going to press clear. 1 divided by 4, parenthesis, x minus 4. And I go blue graph. So I'm looking for 12. So I'm going to have to scroll up until I find a y value at 12. Well, when y is 12, x is negative, or no, that's negative, excuse me. I did that wrong. Went too far, or went the wrong way. Still scrolling, scrolling. Having a lot of fun scrolling. All right. When y is 12, x is a positive 64. All right. Then it has 5. Well, when y is 5, x is 36. So this is basically 64. 12, this is 36. 5, we scroll down to 0. When y is 0, x is 16. When y is -4, x is 0. So we now have 16, 0, 0, -4. And then if we keep scrolling till we get to +4, we find out that this is 32. All right. All right. The next one doesn't have a fraction. And if it doesn't have a fraction, you're going to want to have a positive and a negative. I would recommend going, hey, you know what? Let's go. And always have 0. So how about 0, 2, and -2? 0, 2, -2. So f of x equals 5 times 0 plus 7. F of x equals 5 times 2 plus 7. And f of x equals 5 times -2 plus 7. So let's go to the y equals. This will be an easy one. Press clear. 5 parentheses x plus 7. Second graph. And we need to go to 0, scroll all the way down to 0. When x is 0, this is 7. All right, please remember f of x just stands for y. Then we want 2. Well, 2, it's 17. And at -2, and we scroll up, we end up with -2, -3. And if we were to look at the graph, we see, oh, we have another straight line. Okay? All right, here we have an exponent. So we're going to press the y equals button again. We're going to press clear. And we're going to go parenthesis x, close those parentheses, and we're going to square it, minus 3. All right, once again, we always want to have some positives and some negatives. So in this case, and I like to be centered on zeros, so 0, 2, and -2, and 4, and -4. And let's see what happens. All right, so we're going to go 0, 2, -2, 4, -4. So h of 0 equals parenthesis 0 squared minus 3. H of 2 equals 2 squared minus 3. H of -2 equals -2 in parenthesis. And then h of 4 equals 4 squared minus 3. And then h of -4 equals -4 in parentheses squared minus 3. All right, so that's the way we want it to look. So let's go look at our table. So by now you're probably pretty used to going second graph. And at 0, we have -3. All right, and remember that's the same as saying h of x. So this is 0 and -3, and remember that's the same as saying y. Scroll that down just a little bit. Then we're going to go to 2, and when this 2, we have 1. And when it's -2, we also have 1. Then we're going to go to 4, and we have 13. And the next one, last one, we'll go to -4, and we scroll up, and we're also going to get 13. So let's see what that graph looks like. I press graph. Hey, I get a parabola. This is a quadratic. And anything raised to the second power is known as a quadratic. So this is a quadratic. And this is what it would look like. Okay? Still works the same way. All right, we have g of c equals -2c minus 4. So we're still going to use an x. We're going to write it like this. We'll replace that with an x. So we're going to go back to our y equals. Y equals clear. -2 parentheses. Oops. Parentheses. X. Close those parentheses. Minus 4. Please note all we did was put an x here. That means x. That means y. And they're telling us they want 0, 2, and -2. So let's see what happens. Blue graph. And at 0, we have -4. So g of 0 equals -2 parentheses 0 minus 4. So this gives us -4, 0, -4. Then they want g of 2 equals -2 parentheses 2 minus 4. When I look at 2, I see I get -8. And they want g of -2 equals -2 parentheses -2 minus 4. And when I go to -2, I get 0. So this is 2 and -8 for my domain. And my range in this case is -2, 0. All right, so let's take a look at this real quickly. We're going to press the graph button. And there it is. We have a downward sloping line. And that's about all I need to say about that. I hope that helped. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.